Hello and welcome to the Change Gang podcast with me, your host, Laura Ordile. I'm here to help you hold on to your sanity and your soul as you move through big change. I'm here to guide you from frustration to flow in your life, bridging the practical and the woo, just for you. Let's go. Hey, Change Gang. Welcome to the week. I hope that this is going to be something you truly enjoy. I have the amazing Cassandra Rosa with me today, and we're going to chat all about all things wonderful in embodying confidence. And she is a certified healer, life coach, business coach, and you love helping spiritual entrepreneurs create fulfilling lives and impactful businesses. So welcome, Cassandra. Thanks for being here with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You love to teach your clients all about kind of clarifying their path to their purpose, connecting with their inner confidence, and more. And so I'd love to kind of dive in, and you can just take the wheel for a little bit and tell me about how you help people and the direction that you tend to head in when you're working with someone.
Yes, I would love to. So I work primarily with spiritual entrepreneurs that are feeling like they want to make an impact in the world. And they might have a little thought bubble that has a bunch of question marks of what that's going to look like, what exactly that path is, how they're going to help people, what exactly that's going to look like. So I help them tap into that. And kind of like we were talking about when you're a guest on my podcast, when you're doing something new, a lot of your stuff comes up. A lot of the doubts, the fears, the imposter syndrome that comes along with it. So helping them to be able to move through that with grace so that they can fully step into the impact that they're destined to make in this world. I really love to help people step into the most fulfilling life that they want to create for themselves and create the impact with their businesses. In a nutshell, that's what I do.
What are some of the ways that you do that? Because I didn't mention all of the amazing things that you are, but you're Reiki master, you're a speaker, you have an amazing book out. The book is Now What? Create the Clarity to Achieve Your Dreams. And all of that information will be in the show notes. Don't worry, my friends. All of that will be there so you can find that stuff. Obviously, you wrote a book, so you guide people with the information that's in there. Maybe share a couple, maybe 3 things that really you do dive into for people and say, here are top 3 things that are going to make a difference.
Yeah. So in my methods, I love to look at things holistically, very similar to what I learned about you, walking people very workshop style through practical tools, but also with that intuitive sprinkle with meditations, with card readings, with Reiki, so that they can make that shift holistically on all levels. So clarity we like to focus on, confidence, and then like the practical of the pathways and steps. But it's all very intuitively led because that's our superpower, is our intuitive nature. So I love to help people guide and tap into that version of themselves. Those would be the 3 things.
I think intuition is so important. And people often say, ooh, you have that 6th sense. And it's like, no, actually intuition is your first sense. It shows up and then it uses everything else to provide that information. And I'm finding lately kind of the interesting concept with myself that it's like we have all of that energy that's out in the world, all of the universal information. Some people call it Akashic Records. All of the information is out there. And for me, it's like it kind of filters down in and comes into the access point of our subconscious. And then from there, it kind of comes in and gives us the information fully in that intuitive drive that we have, that intuitive sense that we have. When someone's working with you, is that part of how you guide them? You guide them intuitively. You mentioned using cards. Do you actually sit down and do readings for them? Or do you just kind of say, here's a card when it comes up and you feel like doing it? Or is that like a part of your structured work that you do with them?
Yeah, so I have like intuitive healing sessions in which they'll bring forth an intention of something that they want to shift. And I let my intuition guide me in the different ways and modalities that I'm versed in, including NLP, neuro-linguistic programming for the subconscious mind to help them heal on levels. But my primary offer is really focused on fulfilled femme entrepreneurs, so helping people create fulfilling lives and businesses, in which we focus on some key themes of clarity, of confidence, of connecting to your intuition, of really becoming that creator of that fulfilling life that you want to step into, and helping them get into their unique kind of flow in which that they can show up consistently.
So what do you think that one of the biggest struggles that your clients have in terms of coming and connecting with their intuition? What do you think there's usually commonality that you'll see over and over again? What does that show up for with your clients?
That's such a great question. I think it's the trust. They might get the whispers over and over again. They may see every sign, every angel number, every animal with the same spiritual message over and over. And it's just trusting that whatever their gut is telling them, like, that's the truth. That's their truth that is being, shown to them. So yeah, that trust, I think, is the big thing, especially with all the conditioning. I know you love to talk about the conditioning of, like, religion can be at play, or judgment from others, or, self-judgment. All these different pieces are making them create that mistrust inside of them. So really allowing them to harness that and give themselves permission to lean into that even more.
Yeah, I think that gets taken away a little bit, especially in the way that our world runs for most of us, where we are told at a certain age, a tiny age, okay, you're going to go to school. Everything has to be very logical and very practical and very in that space. And it's not about floating around and being in the energy of anything. That kind of gets shut down. And so you do learn from that point on, unless you have a very supportive family at home that's energetic and intuitive and all of those things, that it has to be logical, or it has to make sense, or all of that. And that's kind of a trap that we stay in even as an adult. It has to make sense. It has to be that. When intuition doesn't always make sense, it's just like, here, do this. And you're like, what?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's funny to say this because I wrote about this in my book. So my book is called Now What? Create the Clarity to Achieve Your Dreams. And it's really about, we have these now what moments in life where we're being asked to jump outside of our comfort zone, but it's like we have all again, that thought bubble with all the question marks coming up. And we go through these, especially as spiritual entrepreneurs, time and time again, to push the envelope, to do things bigger, and to step out of the ABCs of success of, like, first you go to school, then you go to, like, university or college, and then you get, the dream job that you're going to be in forever, right? And have your family and buy the house, right? And I think that when we're on this path of spiritual entrepreneurship, what happens is we have these now what moments in which we're invited to push outside the envelope, where we have to kind of do that dance and take that intuitive surrender approach to be able to thrive through it.
Yes, definitely. Most definitely. And I love that you use NLP, and I'd love for you to explain a little bit about NLP and how you use it and how you think it helps people.
Yeah, so NLP is neuro-linguistic programming, which is really about reprogramming the subconscious, really going deep into the subconscious and being able to rewrite and do the upgrades of the programming that we're picked up on. And the analogy that I like to use, you use so many on mine, but I'm going to throw in another one here, of our subconscious mind is like a filing cabinet. So we're born, it's pretty empty. Then we have these emotional things that come up in life in which, when we're young, from 0 to 7, 0 to 13, these big beige files that were created. So, like, something emotional will happen about money or self-belief or about the way we look, whatever it may be, beige files are created. And then as we go through life, our brain is processing so much information, like 50,000, 60,000, 70,000, whatever the amount is a day. So much is coming in and out of the way that we're interacting with the world, about how we're thinking about how we're interacting with the world, and how we're feeling about what we're interacting with the world. We're very expansive beings. So as we're processing all the information, our brain is like filing all the papers into the folders. And for it to be a simple process, it's not going to make us move in slow motion. Things have to happen fast. So it's going to go to the files that we created already, especially from 0 to 7, 0 to 13. So it's like all this evidence is like reinforcing these big files. So through NLP within my clients, we'll see if there's some patterns that are coming up for them. Then we'll start to get to the root in a very meditative state. We'll get to the root and start to pick out these beige files and be able to create some new ones. So as they move through their lives, that's being reinforced instead.
I also am NLP certified. And to me, NLP and hypnosis are kind of interchangeable in the work that I do. Although some people might not understand that NLP is not quite, it doesn't go quite into the deep meditation part or the deep unconscious. That's not the right word. It doesn't go.
Yeah, I would say from what I understand, you're more consciously aware than you would be in a hypnotic state.
Yes, thank you. There you go.
Would that be correct? You tell me. I'm not as versed in hypnosis.
Yes, I couldn't quite get it out. Yes.
What you've shared and what I know, I think.
Yes. It's a much more, you're kind of like in that more meditative state, in that more relaxed state. I think with NLP, you're more aware. It's more of an exchange between the person that you're working with. Thank you. I knew I had it I just couldn't get the words out.
It's okay. We're co-creating today. No worries.
So with NLP, I think NLP is so incredible because some of the work that I've done outside of hypnosis with NLP is, again, I think when you're working with the subconscious, it's magic. It's just magic. And I love magic. When you're doing that, some of the ways that you do it, I actually have worked with people with what's called, this is jargon or whatever, but it's called submodalities. And some of that I did, it was kind of funny because I did it a little bit different. Normally when you're working with phobias or fears, you're going to go in and you're going to clear the emotional connection, the emotional anchor to that difficulty. And then it's like the memory is still there, but there's no connection. It's like, oh yeah, I guess I don't like spiders that much, but it's not the fear that comes on, the emotional drive of, oh my God, I can't be in the same house. Let's burn down the house because the spider's in it. And I had an interesting journey with a client where they wanted to stop smoking. And so we actually used NLP to begin with to take away the emotional connection that she felt in a good way of going and being in this position. And it felt that was kind of fun and interesting. And then being in this position, and it was another good connection to smoking. And so we used NLP to sever that connection to feeling good during those smoking opportunities. And it was like, wow. And then I followed up it up with some hypnosis, but she's quit smoking. And we can tap into do things in such amazing ways and such incredible ways. Do you have a story of someone maybe that you've worked with NLP where it really kind of changed them? I'd love to hear that.
There's so many. There's like this exercise that I use. The first thing that's coming to mind is with the client, had a traumatic thing that happened in childhood, and she was really focusing on forgiveness. She really wanted to forgive the people involved and rewrite the story. So we kind of went into a state and we focused in on her, like sitting like it was at a movie theater, seeing it all kind of unfold on the screen and stepping into the shoes and really creating this forgiveness and this compassion and this empathy and this perspective. She's changing her perspective so she could cultivate more awareness to be able to truly forgive. We went through that on all parties involved in the situation and kind of rewrote the story on the movie, like it was playing like a movie. And just the way that she was showing up in that relationship going forward was completely different.
Wow.
It's just so beautiful to just see how powerful our subconscious is and how that tool can be so transformational in so many beautiful ways.
That's so wonderful. Is that why you kind of stepped into NLP? Is that what drew you in to work with the subconscious? Tell me a little bit about how you kind of got where you are.
Yeah.
You have like a whole bunch of fun things involved. I think that it's like potato chips, you just kind of grab another one and grab it.
Yeah. You have the best analogies, I have to say. I have interviewed and been interviewed by so many people. You have the best analogies. It was interesting. Like I went to school for psychology, had a huge now what moment realizing I didn't want to be in school for 12 years in Canada to be a psychologist. Now what? What am I going to do with my life? Got into insurance. That's what the family wanted, despite going and volunteering in Africa and falling in love with mentorship. But I had no idea personal development even existed. I was mentoring kids in after school program. Those light bulb moments are just amazing, as you know, and as you've shared. I was in insurance for a while and kind of fell into personal development by accident. And my first business I started when I was 20 years old with a friend of mine making vision boards at schools and community centers with kids. As we were in this journey together and just kind of having a yes year of just saying yes to whatever came our way, NLP fell into our laps, and a lot of people are like, this is such a powerful tool. So I was just like, yes, I'm going to go for it. It'll be great for my like business that I'm starting. So I didn't even really know that much. I just kind of leaned into the yes. So it was actually the first modality that I ever learned and was certified in was NLP all the years back then, funny enough. So then from that point on, it was just personal development in all the beautiful ways, kind of fell into Reiki when I had a spiritual kind of experience learning NLP, actually doing my NLP certification. I was seeing energy for the first time, like, what the heck is that? Like, I don't know what that means. And then from there, it just snowballed modality after modality, course after course, deepening within myself. And now it's my 5th year business now, full time. But I've been in the industry since 2014. So coming on like a decade of starting this personal development, spiritual journey and immersing myself in all these modalities.
Love that. I love that. And isn't it nice? Isn't it wonderful? Some people will say, well, why do you have so many things? Why don't you just pick one? And again, cause it's like, well, because that would be boring, but people do tend to kind of pull something that they really want to work in and drive with that. However, I think knowing that all of the different people that are out there that need someone, not every one of them is going to need a cookie cutter version of a fix or a help or something. And I believe that we do that because first of all, we're led in that direction and we follow our intuition and we go with it. And it's like, okay. And I'm not really sure what that was about, but okay, that was fun. That was interesting. Almost always, I don't know anything that hasn't yet. It will come up later for someone that you're working with that it's like, oh, yeah. I have that tool. I know about that. That's going to be perfect for this person in this situation. Do you find that happens with all the different things that you have? That it's not just, yeah. I mean, you're going to have your base thing that you use, but you pull in all those little threads depending on the person.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting you say that because I would say my through line of like what ties all the pieces in is just like fulfillment and impact. And helping people to cultivate that and step into that. And I think the reason I include like intuitive life coach, business coach into my title, if you will, is because I love to not pre-plan the whole path for people. Like I love to just meet them where they are, what's coming up for them in that present moment and co-creating it and just taking my tools and scheduling accordingly. Yes, there's going to be themes. Yes, there's going to be my favorite things that I incorporate with all my clients if they work with me on a long-term basis. But that's why I love to say intuitive so I can meet them where they are and apply it in a very holistic way.
I love that. I love that. So your podcast is actually called Fulfilled Female Entrepreneur. And yes, I had the opportunity to interview with you and that was super fun to have that conversation. Thanks for having me be a part of that. Tell me you asked me the question on yours about being fulfilled and obviously, that's the name of your podcast. So it's important to you. So what's important to you and how do you describe being a fulfilled female entrepreneur?
Yes. There's so much. We could make a whole podcast and be here for an hour talking about it. But what I've really understood in the past couple of years is fulfillment and achievement. As much as society tells us how they're so intertwined, it doesn't need to be that way. Fulfillment is having conversations like this. Fulfillment is crossing something off of your to-do list. Yes. Fulfillment is the light bulb moments with your client. Fulfillment is sleeping in because you created your own business. Fulfillment is just all the pieces in the parts that makes life joyful and really harnessing the presence of it all, not waiting to be fulfilled when you have the big things. Life is all about the destination in which we're conditioned to think that, right? We're conditioned to say, when you get the degree, when you get the job, when you make $100,000, when or whatever, then you can feel fulfilled, happy, joyful, at peace. But what I've really understood is it's really pulling it back and really making it small and in the present and in the little moments, finding the fulfillment within. So I think that's a big piece. I think fulfillment is really doing what makes your heart sing and what you feel like could be your purpose of why you're here on a soul level, what you're here to set out to do and incorporating that in the small moments too. So it's like having that big and like bringing it into the small. along the path and along the journey. So
yeah, that's beautiful. We do need to live in those small moments because they make up a lot more than the big moments usually do in your life. And it was so funny. I remember when I was in my corporate job and for so long, at one point I was talking to somebody and they said, "Oh, how's it going?" And I said, "Well, I wish it was Friday." And he looked at me and he said, "We're really good at wishing our life away, aren't we?" And I went, "Oh,
Whoa.
And I don't think I ever said that again because I'm like, okay, you're right. What am I going to do with the space between now and then? Am I just going to keep wishing that it's then, and then dreading the Monday that's coming? Or am I going to find a way to be fulfilled, to be content, to be happy? I kind of got beat up once on a conversation I was having because I said, we choose to be happy. We can make that choice. And it is a choice. And someone really lashed out and said, "No, it's all these circumstances around us. You can't always choose to be happy and you can't." And I said, I understand. I understand. I've been in some of those spots. It's horrible. But when you can find the space inside yourself to be okay, even if it's not incredibly happy, but to choose to be okay, even regardless of what's going on around you, regardless of how people are affecting your life outside of that. When you can find that peace and contentment and be centered in yourself, that's the most amazing thing. That's what I want for everyone out there, is to feel that contentment, that fulfillment of just being okay right here.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah, me too. I love that. I love that too. And I know the pain that people are going through and when situations are difficult out there. And we have to remember that we are going to experience all the feelings. I don't think anything that you or I do is ever meant to take away, we talked about taking away the feelings when there's a connection to something difficult, but it doesn't take it away always and forever for everything. You still might have moments of fear. You still might have moments of difficulty, of depression, of upset, but you're not going to live and dwell in it, which is the big difference, which I think we both help people move beyond, which is
so fun.
Okay, well, Cassandra, thank you so much for having the conversation with me. And of course, everything's going to be in the show notes, but will you please tell people how they can reach you and how they can connect with you?
Yeah, so Instagram is my favorite platform to hang out on. So Cassandra Rosa A is the handle. You can check out the podcast, Fulfilled Female Entrepreneur, and listen to our episode that we had there. It's really helping you to create fulfilling lives and businesses. And we have tons of beautiful guests on there just sharing their wisdom and what fulfillment means to them. And check out my website, CassandraRosa.com. There's so many free resources on there. There's a blog, there's podcast, there's guide. Since, we were talking a little bit about confidence here, that confident entrepreneur guide, really helping you with 22 journal prompts to be able to build that confidence to bust through and to finally start your business. So that's available there as well. And just connect. My inbox is always open.
What a wonderful, I love that. 22 journal prompts to build the confidence, because I think it is great. And the more that you play with that and have fun with that, it's incredible what comes when you're journaling. Oh my goodness. Again, another whole conversation.
Yeah.
But,
we might need to do a part 3 and 4.
Right? Oh my goodness. Yes, we could dive in there. It's so fun and interesting. All of the things that can be so useful. And I've been practicing this year. It's so funny because it came a few months ago. I was like, Laura, why are you not doing some of the things for yourself that you keep having other people do? And so I really have been diving into my own work and working with that. It's like kind of a refresh of, oh my gosh, why did I ever stop doing that? That is so fun and cool. So it's refreshing my own journey, which is super fun. Thank you so much for being here, Cassandra. I so enjoyed the conversation.
Me too. Thank you so much.
All right, Change Gang. There you go. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope it was wonderful and that you go and reach out and follow Cassandra and enjoy all that she has to offer out there. And I do hope as well that you meet me right here, same time next week. Ciao. I hope today's episode was interesting to you in some way and fun. If so, hey, find someone to share it with. Maybe they need to hear it too, or maybe they'll just enjoy it. If you'd like, go ahead and grab my tips on supercharging your success. It includes a free short meditation to do just that. You can find that at bit.ly/supercharge your success. Until next time, happy day.